The Batman was the latest reboot of DC's Caped Crusader taking on crime in Gotham City. After the likes of Christian Bale and Ben Affleck, Robert Pattinson had some pretty big shoes to fill. Needless to say, the movie did pretty well, and we saw Pattinson play Batman like it had never been played before. Today we're going to be looking into the future of the franchise. First, The Batman 2 is on the cards for Pattinson. The first movie showed a version of Batman that wasn't seen ever before. It took inspiration from David Fincher's Seven and the Arkham video games. Pattinson could be seen as a detective, trying to solve crime with more than his fists. Don't get us wrong, there was plenty of action in the movie, but the biggest difference was showing the brainy, smart, and crime-solving side of Batman. It did justice to the character as the original creators didn't intend for the Caped Crusader to be just a brawler. Instead, we got to see the man behind the mask, battling his trauma and heartbreak to rise to the challenges that Riddler left in his way. Paul Dano did a phenomenal job, playing the unhinged Riddler, throwing Gotham into a state of terror. He went on to target the corrupt members of the city council and authorities in a brutal killing spree. Batman did manage to stop him in the end, but the damage Riddler caused left the city with issues that must be dealt with. He also left the door open for more insane criminals that would try to take advantage while Gotham is reeling from the destruction it suffered. Batman 2 would probably pick up on that and see how Bruce Wayne goes around solving problems Edward Nygma left in his wake. We would definitely be getting a sequel, as Warner Brothers has already announced it at CinemaCon. What's more, the movie won't be affected by things being stirred up at Warner Brothers. The recent leadership changes at DC Studios left several of the fans in a panic, but the new Batman series will not be affected by it. James Gunn has confirmed that their 10-year plan for the DC Universe doesn't necessarily involve recasting every single character. They do want to start fresh, but their vision isn't that extreme. Besides, most of the actors in movies that are being let go have been in production for some time now. Gal Gadot has been with the studio for 8 years, and we haven't seen Henry Cavill star in a Superman movie for such a long time. Robert just entered the scene last year and made an excellent impression. The Batman was among the very few DC movies that have received praise from audiences and critics in recent years. Surely Gunn and Safran aren't going to trash the one project that actually did well, especially when they're here to improve things. This also means that Matt Reeves will have more freedom working on the Batman and its spin-offs. And honestly, that's exactly what the fans would want. No one wants to see another Snyder fiasco over again. Next, the fans may have to wait for the sequel for quite some time. While it's definitely good news that we'll have a sequel to the Batman, there's some bad news with it as well. Fans will have to wait a long time to see the Batman 2. According to Variety, the earliest we can expect the film to be released is 2025. And as we've come to expect from big franchises, it may even go beyond that. The report also claims that the script hasn't been completed as yet because Reeves has to shuffle work between this and the new Penguin series he's been working on with Colin Farrell. The wait may be long, but if the first movie was any indication, we're going to be in for a treat when it finally comes out. Now, the whole cast may not return for the sequel. There's a big doubt whether the whole original cast will be returning for the Batman 2. We can't say for sure because it hasn't been confirmed yet. Pattinson will be returning as the Caped Crusader, but he's the only one that has officially signed for the sequel. It's safe to assume that most of the cast will be returning though, but their contracts haven't been finalized yet. Zoe Kravitz, also known as the Catwoman, left the city at the end of the film, but there's hope that she'll be returning to join forces with Batman once again. To be honest, the on-screen chemistry between the two leading characters was something that the filmmakers will be sure to keep for the next movie. James Gordon is another important character in the Batman franchise, and Jeffrey Wright would most probably continue with it. His role and how he closely worked with the masked vigilante was critical to Reeves' detective vision of the first film. Any Batman story is incomplete without his trusty butler, Alfred Pennyworth, and Andy Serkis played the part to perfection. He would almost most likely resume his role in the sequel. That just leaves us with the question as to what villain will be featured in the upcoming movie and who'll be the one to play it. Following up, let's take a look at who gets to be the main antagonist of Batman 2. Enigma, also known as the Riddler, is pretty much out of the scene now, which leaves room for Reeves to introduce another villain into the mix. Colin Farrell will probably return as the gangster Penguin, but it's doubtful that he'll be the main villain of the story. Matt Reeves has openly expressed his desire to bring Mr. Freeze back onto the screen, but in a more realistic setting. He's interested in exploring a more grounded version of the iconic villain that remains untapped by any live-action movie so far. Reeves called it a challenge in an interesting way and wants to figure out a way to make it happen. The director said that he really loves the fantastical side of Batman, and he wants to unravel the fantastic character of Mr. Freeze. The franchise can take some pointers from the Arkham games and their portrayal of the character. It'll really be exciting to see an emotionally damaged genius trapped in a cryogenic suit rather than a villain who'd be nothing more than comic relief. Barry Keoghan also got a cameo at the end of the first film inside Arkham Asylum, and the actor is ready to reprise his role once again. But it ultimately depends on what Reeves wants to do. Maybe he'd want to build the new Dark Knight world a little bit more before he brings in Batman's arch-nemesis. Moving on to the rumors of Pattinson's Batman joining the DCEU. This rumor has been around ever since Robert Pattinson was cast as the masked vigilante. A lot of people thought that he wouldn't be only doing a standalone Batman movie, and there was a lot of news debating the idea of him appearing in movies such as The Flash, Wonder Woman, and Justice League. Reeves and company had been against this from day one though. Dylan Clark, the producer of The Batman, even categorically denied any such rumors. The cast and the crew were more interested in a standalone noir Batman. They wanted to explore the depths of his emotions and the darkness he constantly fought. Themes like these would never fit in the DCEU, and making them somehow work would mean crippling Batman's deep, dark, and twisted world. That's why Reeves got on board with the franchise in the first place. He wanted his creative freedom and would get to design his whole universe, including spin-offs and sequels. And to do that, he didn't want to be tied down with a lumbering project that had multiple superheroes. Just as Todd Phillips did with the Joker, he created a character with his own backstory and his own demons, and it worked perfectly. And we would get nothing of the sort if that too was tied with the DCEU. The rumor mill started spinning again when James Gunn and Peter Safran joined DC as new heads of the company. We can't blame people for thinking things will change with their entry into the studio. Up next, James Gunn had to step in to deny rumors. Things started to get out of hand, and all sorts of rumors started flying around regarding the Batman. A report from Variety stated that a well-placed source said that both Gunn and Safran were considering adding Pattinson's Batman to the DCEU. Fans were starting to lose it over this, as Reeves had previously denied any such news. They obviously felt betrayed by the studio, and we can't hold it against them. This would have been catastrophic to the Batman world that Reeves created. That's when Gunn stepped in and cleared the air. He took to Twitter and tagged Variety's writer Adam B. Very, saying that he respects and admires the guy, but this time his article was ill-informed and that he needs to get a new source. Matt Reeves liked the tweet to doubly confirm that no harm is coming to the new Batman world we've all come to love. We can rest easy knowing that the director's canon will remain intact, and we would get to experience some spin-offs in addition to the sequels. Finally, DC seems to be getting a complete reboot. Ever since Gunn and Safran have taken the reins for DC, they're looking to make some big changes and turn things around. Whether it'll be for the better or worse, we can't say for now. The reboot has only just begun, and fans have had to say teary-eyed farewells to their longtime favorite actors, Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill. The production wing is completely getting renewed. But for now, these two big names are out for sure. Jason Momoa, Ezra Miller, and Gal Gadot are also probably leaving, along with the whole of the Snyderverse. Wonder Woman 3 has been shelved indefinitely, and the actress sort of confirmed her departure in a tweet saying, "Thank you and goodbye after 8 years." Aquaman is reported to be reshot after the whole Amber Heard fiasco, and we know that this movie and The Flash are already interfering with Gunn's 10-year plan for the studio. This, of course, gave the Batman fans a scare. But let's face it, it's pretty much the only thing that has kept DC above water. They're probably going to cast someone else for the Batman of the DCEU and leave Reeves and company to their own devices. That brings us to the end of today's video. How badly do you guys want to see the Batman 2? Do you think Gunn and Safran are leading the studio in the right direction? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Also be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more such videos.